Olive! Good girl. Olive the rocket dog. Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the Rifle Chair YouTube channel. I'm out in the woods, and when I'm out in the woods I get deep thoughts. And to be honest with you, the deep thought thing does not happen very often with me, okay? The computer's always whirring in the background. But today maybe it's got to do with today is Trump's inauguration. He's now the President of the United States. Thank God he survived. There wasn't some crazy out in the audience. At least if there was, it got taken care of. And the security around that complex would have been just impenetrable. So deep thoughts for Rifle Chair. I don't make too many of these videos. I try not to because and honestly I don't enjoy making them, and I'm never really truly prepared to make them. I've tried to be prepared, be prepared to make these kinds of videos, where you sit there and you write and you kind of give yourself a transcript or something to read. But that's no good. It's got to be a heart-to-heart. Honestly, it does. Otherwise, the message doesn't really get communicated. You can't script things on a YouTube video and think that it's going to work. However, I seem to be able to have a better flow when I'm out walking in the woods. And you can tell a lot about a people. You can tell a lot about a society or a town or a village or a city, but the way it treats its forests. And I'm not talking about kind of a professional perspective. I'm talking about a value perspective. I mean, there's different things. I mean, people hold a forest means so many different things to so many different people. There's a spiritual aspect, there's a healing aspect, there's a foraging aspect, recreational aspect, an industrial aspect, educational aspect. When you start looking at forests, and I'm just going to kind of leapfrog off that idea of the value of things and how we perceive things, because we all look at things differently. You may look at a forest in a completely different perspective than what I will, but we're interpreting values differently. And that kind of comes down to what I would like to get to. It has to do with politicians trying to walk that balancing point, that knife's edge. Sitting on the fence, or are you on one side of the fence? What normal politicians will do, what professional politicians will do, is that they will be surrounded by these three entities, and they'll try to make as much as possible all of them happy. In one corner, you've got your responsibility and your duty to the citizens who elected you. But then you've got these two other doors that lead into your politician's office. One of them connects to industry. These are the people that pay a lot of taxes. Now, these are the corporation owners. These are the small businesses. These are the large corporations, and they're the multinational, global power corporations. And they have a lot of pull with politicians. I mean, I always try to think of a politician as a NASCAR driver. You know, all the different sponsors that they have, all the people that have been paying, and you know, wearing your NASCAR suit with all the badges that show who your sponsors are. I wish we could do that with politicians, to know who it is that's donating to them and who's got their ear. Because those may not necessarily jive well with the people who voted for you and the platform that you were elected on. And in one other corner, there are the special interest groups, the environmentalists, the, you know, there's many of them. I mean, they make donations to political parties, to individual politicians, and they have special interests, is why they call themselves that. I mean, they have specific interests that they're representing segments of the population, and so they will lobby in order to have those things protected or secured. The problem is, politicians have to balance all of these pressures, and I can kind of see that being a very difficult thing to do. I mean, you were elected based on a specific platform, and your intentions were to actually deliver that platform as best you could and as fairly as possible to all Canadians, not just the ones that voted for you. You're supposed to represent all Canadians. But there's a problem when a politician is elected. They would normally try to break that balance. The problem is that generally liberals, I would call them no longer liberals actually, I will call them leftists, because there's a difference. Leftists are ideologues. And when you elect an ideologue, they will do whatever their ideology is and place it above all else, at the risk of everything else. Quite often, the very flamboyant people, they're easy to know, fun to be around, but they're not the kind of people you leave in control of your bank account, because they're a little bit too flamboyant. Maybe they feel society is indebted to them for something or other. I don't know. But when you elect an ideologue to a position of public office, you got to ask where their real, honest responsibilities rest. Who they feel that they are working for, and for what it is that they are working for. You know, it's this balancing point. Their doors are constantly being banged on. The phone is constantly ringing off the hook by people that are wanting things from them. But an ideologue will pick up that phone for certain phone calls, and he will call those people, or in reverse, he will receive support from them, and he will provide support to them. Because his personal aspirations, his personal ideologies, this is the mechanism to deploy them. And their gifts can be very rich. So let's talk about gifts. You can tell a lot about a person by the kind of gifts they give. Generosity. Somebody over there. Or the kind of gifts that they buy. I mean, somebody that lives an opulent life, and they are very open to giving gifts. You can tell a lot about a person by the kind of gifts that they give, that they bestow upon other people. Kind of like the way a community treats its forest. Now let's look at, let's think of a gift. Okay, I know one. Look at this car. That is a Mercedes 300 SL, 1960. That is a beautiful car. That is a piece of art. I mean, just look at the lines, look at the contours, the flow. I mean, just the things that were, the kind of mindset that went into that, the thought that went into that, and the cost of owning a car like that. In 1960, that beautiful Mercedes 300 SL convertible would have cost an arm and a leg, and today it does. Now look at that car again. Now it's being driven by its owner. Yeah, that's Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Now think about somebody else that was probably given that car. Now look at the car. Yeah, that's its current owner. It was handed down to Justin. A beautiful car. I think he got married in that car too, I think. Anyway, so I mean, beautiful car, very flamboyant. Do you think that's a car that is owned by a money pincher? Somebody that pinches their pennies? Is a safe spender? Is a person that takes value in fuel economy? Or is it somebody who prizes the way they look in that car and the ego that kind of comes along with it? What kind of car do you think Stephen Harper drives? What kind of car do you think, I don't know, it could be anybody. What kind of car do you think I drive? You're right, I don't own a car. A person's vehicle says a lot about them. So what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to live the kind of life where you give beyond your means, or maybe it's that you're giving within your means and you give very large presents to different people that you're ideologically tied to? Or do you find a striking point, a balance between all of these values and your responsibility and your duties and your station and the things that you're placed in power for? Do you hold that above all else? Or do you allow your personal ideology to take control and implement? It says something about the character of a person, about why they're there, and their touch to reality and responsibilities, immense responsibilities that they hold. And if you do not respect, or if you have come to learn and understand and appreciate that maybe somebody isn't who you thought they were, and that you are no longer going down the right path, then your duty is to reevaluate your priorities, even if it means crossing the floor. Remember why you're there. And you're in that position of strength, power, and influence. And if you can't follow it, if you can't follow your conscience, then you need to make a decision. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hope we're all doing well. Rifle Trace signing off, and as always, Maple Leaf up.